Hi, I'm Sharon Kimball, and today I am reading Poochy, the Christmas Pup. It's written by Beth Varden, and the pictures are by Charlotte Bay. Holiday candles and jolly bells ringing, tree lights all shining, and carolers singing. Everyone's happy when Christmas is here. But wait, what's that outside the window? An ear? Not just one ear, but a couple of shaggy ones. Also 4 paws, and they seem to be baggy ones. One tail that keeps wagging, 2 eyes looking up. Add them together, it's Poochy the pup. While most folks were happy, poor Poochy was blue. He dreamed about bones, but it never came true. Poochy had all of the whole world to roam to, but he didn't have any home to come home to. Look at this map on this page. It says north, south, east, and west. Every dog loves his own home best. There's a ranch type, a cottage, the tower, the Parisienne, the gypsy, but Poochy just watches them. On the day before Christmas, through snow and through sleet, Poochy looked at the doors of each house on the street. Each had its trimming, a gay holly wreath, or a bright Santa face with a long beard beneath, candy canes, snowflakes, or jingle bells. But the sad part about it, the doors were all shut. When all of a sudden, one door opened wide, and there was a dog looking friendly inside. "Hi, fella," he called out to Poochy. "Come in. My name is Pip Poodle," he said with a grin. "My folks are out shopping, so no one will scold if you come inside and get out of the cold." Poochy came running, no need to ask twice. "Thanks, pal," he said. "You are awfully nice." He shook off the snow as he stepped in the hall. Of course, it got spattered all over the wall. Right there before him, he saw a tall tree, and his eyes got as big as a dog's eyes can be. Then he said, rather sadly, "So often at night I've peeked through the window at trees shining bright. I'd love to help trim one. So now that I'm here, perhaps I can join in the Christmas time cheer." The ornaments, tinsel, and lights were all ready, so Pip, down below, held the stepladder steady, while Poochy was saying in unhappy tones, "These ornaments break a lot faster than bones." They plugged the lights wrong, and it got such a shock that fuses were blown out all over the block. But candles were lit, and the pups didn't stop till the tree had an upside-down angel on top. Well, Poochy was eager to help out still more. He put up the wreaths at the windows and door. He wrapped up some parcels and tied them up too, and pasted on labels with plenty of glue. "Let's make Christmas popcorn," said Pip to his guest. So both pups got busy. They just did their best. They crammed in the popcorn and kept it in motion. So whoops, guess what happened? A popcorn explosion. And if you look at the popcorn, there's a little poodle in the popcorn. In a house full of popcorn, like deep drifted snow, they barked a white Christmas with candles aglow. Just then, a big woman grabbed Pip from the rear as she yelled, "Pip, you're bad. You've let strange dogs in here. Just look at this mess." And the broom that she held hit Poochy so hard he was just jet propelled. through the room, through the door, and out into the night, till he fell in a drift that was cold, wet, and white. Poor Poochy! His heart almost broke then and there. He really had tried, so it just wasn't fair. He loved having Christmas and longed to join in, but he just didn't know the right way to begin. He wanted a home, but we'll have to admit it, he'd made one home look like a cyclone had hit it. He was shivering there when a hand picked him up. The woman, she's got me, thought Poochy the pup. He was stuffed in a pocket. Oh, blacker than ink. But some things aren't half as bad as we think. A few minutes later, inside a big room, a hand pulled poor Poochy up out of the gloom, and a voice that was friendly, good-natured, and pleasant said, "Pup, you'll be somebody's favorite present." Then he tucked Poochy's legs and his back and his tail in a pretty red stocking hung up on a nail. As soon as the children came running to see their gifts in the stockings and under the tree, they shouted, "A doggie! Oh, Santa Claus knew a doggie would make all our wishes come true. We've bought a dog collar, we've got a big bone, and we already built him a home of his own." If you peek inside the home they built, there's even a dog bone inside. That's the end of our tale, but you might like to hear that Poochy was happy there year after year. He sometimes was naughty and got punished too, but when in the doghouse, he never felt blue. And each year at Christmas, he always took part in singing the carols with joy in his heart. I hope you've enjoyed Poochy, the Christmas pup.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Letarte. I'm going to read today Splendiferous Christmas. It was one of my daughter's favorite books of all time. She is now 19 years old, and she couldn't part with it, so I keep it around at Christmas and everybody reads it again. Fancy Nancy, Splendiferous Christmas, written by Jane O'Connor and illustrated by Robin Glasser. Our house never looks fancy, except on Christmas. And then it's splendiferous. Ta-da! It's Christmas time. I love Christmas so much. It is important to find a tree with a wonderful aroma. That's a fancy word for smell. I think bigger is always better. But my dad says we must compromise. And you know what that means. Whatever mom picks, she gets. On Christmas Eve, we get out the ornaments. Some were Grandpa's when he was a little boy. These are heirlooms, my mom says. That's fancy for things that are old and valuable. Here's our tree topper. Isn't it just gorgeous? I bought it last summer with all my birthday money. It is never too early to prepare for Christmas. We always wait for Grandpa to decorate the tree. We'll be here when he comes. He'll be here very soon, they say. While we wait, we bake Christmas cookies. My sister helps with the sprinkles. Delectable. That's fancy for yummy. Guess which one I decorated? I finished wrapping all the presents. This quilt is for Maribel. Maribel is my favorite doll. Put lace on anything and voila, it's fancy. I also made a tiny Christmas card for her. Next, we go caroling, which is fancy for singing Christmas songs. Do you have your favorite Christmas song? I have mine, it's Silent Night. Back at home, still no Grandpa. So we plead with our parents. Pleading is like begging, only fancier. Please, please, pretty please, can we just put up the tree topper now? Ooh la la, everything it says on the box is true. It spins, it flashes on and off, and changes color. My dad says that Grandpa called. He'll be here any minute. We wait and wait and wait some more. How can a minute take so long? Frenchie, my dog, is not as patient as I am. So I wrap one of her presents, a tug toy. Frenchie is strong, but I am stronger. I pull hard. Whoops. The tree sways. Oh no, oh no, look out below. The tree topper smashes to pieces. I am devastated, which is upset only a zillion times worse. Just then, Grandpa arrives. Tell him what happened. When life gives you cracked eggs, make eggnog, he says. What does that mean, I ask. It means you improvise. That's a fancy word for using whatever's around to make something, anything. We make a tree topper with glitter and pom-poms and ribbons. Grandpa says one day you will have your own family and you will tell them how we made this together. Oh, it's going to be an heirloom, I explained to my little sister. Decorating the tree is so much fun. There's no such thing as too much tinsel. I keep telling everyone. Only one word describes how magnificent, joyous, and sparkly Christmas morning is. Splendiferous. Have a splendiferous Christmas. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Richard Letarte. I live here in Lunenburg, and I'm here to read you a story called A Small Christmas by Herbert Yee, which is part of a large collection from the Family Christmas Treasury. A Small Christmas. In the middle of town, where buildings stand tall, there lives a little man called Fireman Small. The only fireman this side of the bay, and he's getting ready for the holiday. Since no calls have come in, he's also quite free to help Mayor Mole find a large Christmas tree. On Beaver's tree farm, they grow pines big and tall, and some teeny, just like Fireman Small. With a few mighty whacks, he chops a tree down, throws it up on the truck, and drives back to town. The city is bustling with Yuletide cheer. For stores, it's the busiest time of the year. Fireman Small waves to the holiday shopper, and he straightens the Christmas tree topper. There are bundles of lights that need to get strung, boxes of ornaments just waiting to be hung. The townsfolk hustle past Small on the street. Some stop to sample a warm winter treat. Boys and girls climb up upon Santa's lap. Mums and dads line up with presents to wrap. Soon it's time for the shopkeepers to leave and take leave, since stores all close early upon Christmas Eve. Fireman Small puts up the last decoration. Tired and beat, he drives back to the station. He pulls the truck into Firehouse 9. He walks upstairs one step at a time, closes the doors, and he hops into bed and pulls the covers up over his head. But around midnight he hears a sound on the roof, a jingling of sleigh bells, the tip-tap of hoof. There's a crash, then a muffled ho, 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 ho. Someone's downstairs in the firehouse below. Quickly out of the bed, he jumps and he scoots, climbs into his pants and his fireman boots. Ready to go, he slides down the pole and he sees two big legs sticking out of the coal. Black boots, a brown sack, white bearded jaws. Is it a burglar? Why, no. Why, it's Santa Claus. From the cap on his head right down to each foot, the jolly old fellow was covered with soot. His clothes get tossed in the washing machine. In just a short while, they're dry and they're clean. But something's wrong. The red suit has shrunk. Worse than that, Santa's asleep in his bunk. What about all the good girls and their boys? Who will deliver the rest of the toys? Though Fireman Small should be snuggled in bed, he races up to the rooftop instead. Dressed in Santa's now small suit, he hops in the sleigh. But the reindeer refuse to up and fly away. What can he do? Such terrible luck. Wait, Fireman Small can take his red truck out of the station. He's ready to go, plowing through streets all covered with snow. Fireman Small clutches the sack full of toys. He slides down the chimney without any noise. At Farmer Pig's farm, he leaves a straw hat, new overalls, and a chew toy for Cat. Beaver's gift is her own ping-pong paddle. Rabbit gets a rocking horse with a big saddle. Up the chimney he scoots in a hurry. Down the rooftop he shoots with a flurry. Fireman Small speeds up to the next house, dropping off presents for Possum and Mouse. He stuffs a stocking for Crocodile's daughter, makes sure the Christmas tree has just enough water. Fireman Small crosses each name off his list. The bag is all empty. No one has been missed. He pulls back into station number 9, walks upstairs one step at a time, stretches and yawns, crawls into bed, and pulls the covers up over his head. When Fireman Small gets up the next day, he finds no Santa, no reindeer or sleigh. Was it a dream? Did he imagine it all? Look, there's a letter for Fireman Small. After flying all night, north, south, east, and west, my reindeer and I were in need of some rest. Thank you, Fireman Small, you're a fine substitute. Please keep this token, my now tiny red suit. Santa Claus. Merry Christmas.
My name's Donna Fortune, and today I'm going to read you a book called 1,000 Candy Santas, written by Daphne Howard Hogstrom and illustrated by Mary Lou Wise. I chose this book because I liked to read it to my children when they were young. Let's read it and see why. 1,000 Candy Santas. Everything was going wrong at Santa's workshop. The elves were sick, Santa had a sore back, the red paint for the toy fire trucks was all used up. There was no ribbon left for the little dolls' dresses, and to top it all, the candy machine broke and stamped out 1,000 candy Santas of all shapes and sizes before anybody could stop it. Mrs. Claus was particularly unhappy about these troubles. She was worried about everything, but especially about Santa and the elves. They will never get the presents finished in time for Christmas, she thought. I must visit the Wizard of the Seven Winds and see if he can help. And, picking her way carefully over the piles of candy Santas cluttering the workshop floor, Mrs. Claus wrapped herself warmly and set out for the wizard's home. Now, the Wizard of the Seven Winds was a very special wizard indeed. It was he who had given Santa the 3 most magic things he owned: the magic clock that made time stand still, the magic sled that flew through the sky as if on wings, and the magic sack that never became empty until the very last gift was given to the very last child on Christmas Eve. If anyone can help us, then the wizard can, thought Mrs. Claus as she climbed the hill to the wizard's castle, where snow swirled like a windmill and the wind whirled like a whip. But the blizzard stopped quickly when Mrs. Claus tapped on the castle knocker, and the wizard himself opened the castle door. "Abracadabra," he said when he saw who it was, and he waved his wand so that even in the middle of December, rosebuds bloomed upon the bushes and bluebirds sang among the trees. "I know your wonderful magic can help us," said Mrs. Claus, smelling the flowers, and she told the wizard about the things that had gone wrong at Santa's workshop. But the wizard only looked very unhappy when she had finished. "Santa already has received all the magic gifts he may have," he said. "The most I can do now is give you my second best wand and hope you'll find the magic word to make it work." So saying, he took a crooked little stick from the folds of his cloak and placed it in Mrs. Claus's hands. "Just touch this to anything you wish and say a magic word," he said. "The proper word will make the magic happen, and Santa will get his help." And the wizard waved a sad goodbye to his visitor as she took one last look at the roses and started on her way back down the hill. "Alakazoo, alakazee, alakazow," said Mrs. Claus, thinking of all the magic words she could remember as she trudged toward the workshop in the snow. "And alakazam," she said as she touched the wand to Santa's shoulders, hoping it would stop his aches and pains. "Ouch," said Santa, "that makes me sting." So alakazam was not the magic word. "Alakazata," she said as she patted the wand to an elf's rosy nose, hoping it would cure his sniffs and snorts. "Achoo," said the elf. "That makes me sneeze." So alakazata was not the magic word. "Karakaroo," she called as she touched the wand to the last little bit of ribbon, hoping it would grow to yards of silk. But the ribbon remained short and shredded, and even tattered a little bit more upon its end. "Weedle-dee-dee," she cried as she touched the wand to the empty paint can, hoping it would fill with fire-red paint. But the can stayed bare and empty, while the little flakes of paint flew in her face. "Help!" cried Mrs. Claus, dropping the wand on a pile of candy Santas as she stopped to rub her eyes with both her hands. But as the wand touched the Santas, their legs began to kick and their arms began to swing. Their heads began to wiggle and their hands began to wave. Their red sugar coats grew warm and woolly and their white icing beards grew fluffed and full. As quick as a twinkle, all the candy Santas came to life and lined up in a row upon the floor. "I have found the magic word," cried Mrs. Claus, and she ran from Santa to Santa to Santa, touching each with her wand and saying, "Help," until the whole workshop was filled with assorted Santas, all of them ready and waiting to work. "Will you hitch the sled?" asked Mrs. Claus as she sent some of the Santas off to help the reindeer. "Will you pack the sack?" she asked as she sent some of the Santas off to help the elves. But most of the Santas went off to shops and stores and street corners all around the world, where to this day they help Santa by listening to the boys and girls and learning what they wish for Christmas. As for the wizard's second best wand, that changed into a piece of red and white striped sugar and was the very first candy cane ever made. Wow, what a great book about all the Santa's helpers that we see each year and how they came to be. It's my pleasure to share this book about the 1,000 Candy Santas. I hope to see you all again on Lunenburg Storytime. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is John Fortune, and welcome to our special holiday edition of Lunenburg Storytime. Today I'm going to read you one of my favorite Christmas stories about the Little Blue Truck. If you've read any of the Little Blue Truck series, you know there is always some job that needs to be done, and the Little Blue Truck is just the one to do it. Let's read the book and find out what happens. The book is titled The Little Blue Truck's Christmas. It was written by Alice Schertle and illustrated by Jill McElmurray. The Little Blue Truck's Christmas. Beep, beep, beep. December's here. Little Blue Truck is full of cheer. Every Christmas, Little Blue has a delivery job to do. I'm sorry. 5 trees ready to take a ride. How many trees will fit inside? 1 tree, 2 trees, 3 trees, 4. Just enough room for 1 tree more. 5 green trees make 1 big load. Beep, says Blue. Let's hit the road. Blue has friends both far and near. Who needs a Christmas tree this year? Honk, says the goose. The big one, please. Now there are 4 green Christmas trees. Moo, says the cow. The tall one, please. Now there are 3 green Christmas trees. Oink, says the pig. The fat one, please. Now there are 2 green Christmas trees. Meh, says the goat. The short one, please. Now there's just 1 green Christmas tree. 1 tree left in a little blue truck. 1 tree left. What very good luck. Little blue truck needs a Christmas tree. Beep, beep, beep. This one's for me. I love this story about Little Blue Truck. There are 8 actually in the Little Blue Truck series, but this one is my favorite. I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm John Fortune and want to thank you for watching Lunenburg Storytime. See you next time.
Happy holidays, everyone. My name is Jane Rabbit, and in keeping with the holidays, I'm going to read a book called The Snowiest Christmas Ever by Jane Chapman. It was almost Christmas. The bear's cabin twinkled with decorations, and all around the tree, presents waited to be unwrapped. And the fire crackled cozily. Everything was perfect except for one thing. Please let there be snow this Christmas, squeaked Button, pointing at her book. Oh, yes, Mungo cried, all fluffy and soft for Santa's sleigh to land in. Papa laughed. Don't worry, cubs. I'm sure snow is on the way. But there was no snow at bath time. Then, at bedtime, something tinkled against the window. Button took a peek. It's snowing, gasped Button. Yay, cheered Mungo. Papa gave his excited bears a squeeze. I wish it would snow forever, Button yawned sleepily. All through the night, the snow got deeper and deeper and deeper. The next morning, something big fell through the mail slot. Plop! It was a mound of snow. Ooh, Button whispered. Oh my, exclaimed Papa. I've never seen snow do that before. Snowball fight, cheered Mungo, hurling a pawful at Button. Squealing, Button aimed one back, but her snowball hit Papa instead. Why don't you play outside, chuckled Papa. I'll make breakfast. But when the cubs opened the door, an avalanche of white tumbled in. Flump! Woo-hoo, I have a great idea, grinned Mungo, and he began to roll a ball of snow around the floor. The snowball grew and grew. We need a carrot, Papa, called Mungo. For breakfast? Replied Papa. No, it's for the snowman, laughed Button. Oh my, an indoor snowman. Let's clean this up before he melts into an enormous puddle, exclaimed Papa. The snowflakes drifted down all day long. More snow, sang the bear cubs. Just then there was a rumble from the chimney. Is that Santa already? Asked Button. Floof! A humongous pillow of snow plunged down the chimney, and the fire went out. Also, the Christmas tree fell over. Oh no, gulped Papa. Now this really is too much snow. If the chimney is blocked, how will Santa deliver our presents? Mungo cried. It's all my fault, sobbed Button. I wished it would snow forever, and now this has happened. Don't worry, comforted Papa, gathering up Button in his big bear paws. We'll help Santa get through. We could use the broom, Mungo suggested. Papa squeezed into the sooty chimney and pushed the broom up as far as he could. But even on tiptoe, he couldn't reach the top. So the bear cubs climbed up onto Papa's shoulders, and with a wiggle and a heave, the broom popped out. I can see stars, squeaked Button. Phew, chuckled Papa. I think we've saved Christmas. After a nice bath, the three bears cuddled by the fire. Are you sure Santa will come? Mumbled Button. Of course, grinned Papa. The snow has stopped falling at last, and the forest looked as glittery as the pictures in Button's book. And if you look out the window, you can see that Santa is on his way to their house. And while the bears slept soundly, Santa climbed down the chimney to leave them the perfect present. A sled, cheered the bear cubs the next morning. Just right for the snowiest Christmas ever. Whee! I can remember wishing for a very snowy Christmas many times when I was little. So I hope you enjoyed this book, and happy holidays.